Nick Smith, welcome to joining me on this call, and congratulations on being nominated as Adafio July Associate Spotlight. It's such an honor to get to know you and meet you virtually. As Adafio continues to grow so much, these opportunities really, I think, help bring everybody together and get to know us as humans and individuals, not just an associate or an employee. So thank you so much for joining.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So tell me, Nick, a little bit about who you are and our viewers. What do you do at Adafio, and how long have you been working for us?
Okay. I've been with Adafio for about 4.5 years now. I spent the last year and a half on the networking team, mostly troubleshoot various issues within our clients' networks, and then I do some of the project work as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it means to be a network engineer? What does that entail for just a day in the life of Nick Smith?
Working on wireless or standing up a new location, working in ACLs and firewalls, building out VLANs. It's just every day is a new adventure. So
It is, isn't it? Which leads me to, what do you enjoy most about your job with Adafio?
I really like helping people, and that's what I like about this position so much is that whenever they get to me, they really need help.
Would you call yourself like an IT therapist?
Yeah, an IT therapist. I go in and I evaluate the issues, and then I see what I can do about them, and try and take care of it in a timely manner.
And you do have a very calming sense about yourself. So as we all know, when it comes to IT and technology, it's super complex. There's no other way around it, and it's always changing and evolving. That's what makes it so frustrating for those of us that are on the other end. And
Yeah,
so when you come on and you're the person that we're calling and we're flustered and frustrated and we don't necessarily have the right questions or know how to get to the end solution because it's not our forte. Walk me through, what questions do you typically ask on a call just to get somebody to talk them down maybe to a moment of sanity?
I usually start. Best question is what happened right before it stopped working, and
That
then
sounds
that
like the thing
usually
I
helps
ask
me.
my children too. What happened before you poked him in the eye? Or you
Yep,
she started crying. It's a
and that helps me
great,
narrow it
great
down a
lead in.
little bit. Yep. I do get a lot of calls where, they're down and they need it really urgently. And one thing that I really think helps me is my thick country accent. Makes me a lot more relatable. So besides that, yeah, when did it start happening? Is it only happening to you? Have you rebooted your computer? That's a great question. 90% of the things can be fixed by a reboot. So that's always a good place to start.
So you mentioned that you love puzzles and that you consider
hmm
your job, the challenges that come with your job, it's like putting a puzzle together. You agree that that's pretty much an everyday situation?
It is. And there's some days where I find one puzzle piece and I'll find the next puzzle piece a couple days later. So
We know what you love to do as far as at Adafio. What are some things that you love to do when you're not at Adafio?
if the weather is nice, then I really like to go fishing. I really like to fish. Other than that, I've got about 100-pound German Shepherd. So me and my wife like to take him out on walks, but usually he takes us for the walk. So
I would imagine so. They're such good dogs. They're so loyal to their owners. Don't you agree?
yeah, he's very loyal. He's got a lot of hair too.
Does Yeah, I think my next dog will be one of those non-shedding animals. That seems so unfair to those dogs that do shed, because every dog needs a home. But I just don't know if I can handle all the hair.
Yeah, I mean, I could just about make a sweater every month.
Especially now in the heat, right? When they need to kind
Yeah,
of release a little more. What's your dog's
yeah.
name?
You give Bastion,
Sebastian or Bastion?
just Bastion.
Just Bastion. Where do you live and where are you from originally?
I live in Conway, but originally I'm from Mountain View.
Isn't Mountain View a pretty small town?
It is. It's probably got 35 or 3,600 people in it.
Yeah.
So it's real close. You know just about everybody when you go into Walmart.
Right. What's one fun fact about you that most people don't know?
The one that I'm really proud of is I want to say it was probably my senior year of high school. I was really big into hacky sack, and I got a good 60 kicks in a solo hacky sack session. And I don't think I've been able to replicate that since.
I found that I was highly impressed because I've done hacky before with people and by myself, and it really does matter when you have coordination and reflexes that are, above par. So that's
It's a good one with your
that's a
feet.
good sign that you're able to handle things and efficiently with a good coordination. That's impressive.
I hope I've still kept a lot of it. I haven't hacky sacked for a good little bit.
That's a that, like, we should have done that at the company party. Had a hacky sack kickoff.
We could do it for the next one. I'll definitely
I
participate.
Then we're going to, and we're going to have a hula hoop and contest as well. I think those two we need to add.
Okay.
Hacky sack and hula hoop. See, it takes collaboration like that for us to create better ideas and then implement them in the next event. So, what is your most favorite place to visit in the world?
So last year, me and my wife honeymooned in Yachats, Oregon. I was pretty blown away by that. So we stayed, the whole town is pretty much just right along the coast, and it's a real small town as well. It's probably 3,000 people. And where we stayed, all night you could just hear the waves crashing up against the shoreline, and it was almost like nature's white noise. And I found that so soothing. I don't know if you've watched Gilmore Girls, but I found myself watching a couple episodes before, and the whole town almost had the feel of the town out of Gilmore Girls, where you can go down into a farmer's market and see everybody and the little mom and pop stores and everything's local there. And it was just a great experience, and I'd love to go back.
What made you guys decide to go there for your honeymoon?
There was a lot of nature there. Also, the ocean was real close. We like going on trails, and we love lighthouses. So they've got a couple of old lighthouses there that we got to go up in, and that was really nice
Really?
as well. Yes. They've got a natural exhibit called, I guess you'd call it an exhibit. It's called Devil's Turn, and it's just this
Hmm.
natural formation where the waves kind of turn into a big old churn, and there's this loud roar coming from it that you can hear from the highway before you get to it. And it
Really?
really just kind of puts everything in perspective, seeing how big that is and just hearing
Uh,
it. It's crazy.
yeah, we could always use some nature experiences to put everything in perspective, to realize just how significant nature is, but then sometimes also how insignificant we are too to the whole scheme
Yeah.
of it all. If you could meet anybody in the world, who would it be and why?
Top one I'd choose would probably be Robin Williams. Growing up, I watched pretty much all of his movies. I watched his stand up and everything. And I feel like he just had a unique perspective on the world. He lived every day to make other people happy. It's almost like he could see that there was this role that he could fill in the world, and he just went out and filled it. So that's who he was. He was the guy that made everybody smile. So I think it would be great to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, and that's such a courageous, bold endeavor to go and serve, just a need in the world the way that he did, because I just think it takes a lot of confidence to share in his comedic, but also there's a vulnerability to that as well. And he did it so well. He's a genius, really, in a very empathetic and sincere way. He cuts right to the heart of it. When you look at Dead Poets Society, or there was another movie that he was in, and I, for the life of me, can't remember it, but there was more to it than just comedy, right? There was so much more depth and
Yeah,
heartache and pain, but he was always able to kind of lift you up out of it too. It's sad to see that
it was
he's
a
gone,
different
but he
lens.
did leave a legacy, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
What was your favorite movie that he made or was in?
Jumanji, probably. I was
Jumanji.
I was a huge Jumanji fan.
Of all the famous people that are out there, he had more energy. And to know what was going on inside of his brain, it's not being John Malkovich. They should have done being Robin Williams, like getting into the head
Yeah,
of his and knowing how it operates and functions and how he sees the world would have been such a trip.
that's why I would like to have dinner with him. I would have taken him somewhere where I could have cornered him for a little bit.
Yes, everybody at Adafio has a story from what brought them to this company. And if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about how you got here and what do you think of it so far? And what do you think about the future of technology as we enter into, this new, coming in out of COVID? What do you think of technology and what we can bring?
I joined Adafio in my freshman year of college. I got the amazing opportunity to come on as an intern on the help desk. I was working retail at the time, and I knew that I wanted to do something that would help the community. And I started looking into Adafio, and I saw how we work with all these local restaurant or local companies, and
Mhm.
um, just all these different places that raise up our community. And I thought that that would be such a great experience. So I got the great opportunity to come on as a help desk intern. And from then on, I want to say it was during my first interview, the sense of family and camaraderie that I felt. I just knew that I was just going to get sucked in and stay. And it happened, and I haven't looked back since. As for coming out of COVID, I feel like we're going to see a lot more cloud, and that's great because we've got the Adoptio cloud. But
That's
with
right.
everybody working from home, you've got remote access. You want to make sure that's secure. Working on virtual computers, you want to make sure that that's secure. So I think we're going to see a lot more virtualization and stuff in the cloud.
And to know that it's not just about running and growing your business, but it's also more importantly about protecting your business too, right? The digital assets
Yes.
and the data and all that. That's a kind of a package deal. And it's more important now than ever. It feels like it's moving faster and evolving at such a rapid warp speed. It's a continuous
Yeah.
learning curve for you guys. Yeah.
The world of cybersecurity is ever changing. New things are coming out every day, new vulnerabilities and new patches the same.
Do you find that with that the engineering and the technology part that you do that and the cybersecurity that somehow they're interwoven together to some way that you have to learn a little bit of cyber in order to make the end result more, efficient and better? Or do you think them as two
Yes.
separate things?
No, I'd say they're tightly interwoven because you need to know the full impact of every change that you make. So if you go in and make a NAT statement that isn't fully secure, you need to know the impact of that. If you have a internet-facing NAT that's open to the public, then that's a security risk. You need to be able to acknowledge that and know how to treat it.
What would you say to those that are recareering or to the students that are going into engineering and to technology and computer sciences as advice to them as they start their journey into technology? What would be some advice you would share with them?
I'd start off by saying that's an excellent career choice. Networking and computers aren't going anywhere. They're just going to continue becoming more integrated into our society. So good choice there. And then second off, you're never going to know everything. You're going to continue learning as you go on. Once you graduate, the learning doesn't stop there. That's just the beginning. And you get more paths that you can go down and more things to discover. Just don't feel trapped
Yeah,
because you're going to continue growing.
that's beautiful. Do you have a mentor that you talk to within the company or outside of the company that you reach out when you feel stuck or at a in a rut?
I do. It happens to be my supervisor, Brent Saunders. He's a
Oh,
awesome mentor. If I run into something that I just can't wrap my head around, then I know I can reach out to him, and he's always Johnny on the spot.
that is wonderful. I mean, in addition to having your supervisor be a lighthouse in
Yeah,
another kind of term, as you love lighthouses, that and to have that ability to reach out and not feel intimidated or somehow that the question you might like you should know that there's always that
yeah.
open door policy of just openness at Adafio. There's that humility. It radiates throughout the company. It's like everything's a good question. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time and for joining me on this call. It was beyond, a privilege to talk to you. I sense just from, even though it's a virtual screen between us, that you have the IT with EQ, which is what I like to call most of our engineers. There's that you kind of help just take the edge off for those of us that have issues. So call Nick. What would Nick do? That's what my new saying is.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well,
Thank you.
and yeah, so have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in person at some point. But we will be in a hacky sack contest, I see, in the foreseeable future.
Hey, let's do it. I'll get my sweatband.
That sounds great. Well, take care. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
See you later, alligator.